Thank you. Thank you so much, and welcome to our spring band concert. That was a piece. Okay, this thing is on. That was a piece by Brian Balmages. I can't remember anything. It's called Spirit of Aloha, and I am good. Look at that. This piece called Spirit of Aloha, and it's this really cool combination of this fast section, and it uses a Hawaii folk tune, a Hawaii Aloha, in the second half. That was that slower chorale section. The theme that you're going to notice tonight is you're going to hear a lot of spirituals or folk music kind of in all of these pieces. Some of them are a little bit harder to find. Some of them are smacking in the face, like the one that says On a Hymn Song of Lowell Mason, which is what we're going to play now. This is by David Holsinger. One thing I need to mention on that last piece, we have a lovely ukulele player in our alto section, Tori Stark. So hope you enjoy On a Hymn Song of Lowell Mason. All right, thank you so much. Okay, so my third trimester, I have a student assistant, Morgan Wagner. And for my third trimester student assistants, I have only had one other one in my 3 years here, and that was Megan Lau a couple years ago. I've got both of her sisters in the band. This year, I asked Morgan, I said, well, my assistants, I tend to try to give them something extra to do, and kind of scoped out what she wanted to do. And Morgan was going to be going into a career in music education, as it were. So I figured what better way than to give her a chance to conduct a piece on the concert. So this next piece, On the Banks by Matt Conway, who is a composer that a lot of the kids in the band like, that I can't stop hearing about one of his songs that they always want to play, but that's a different story. Ask your student about that if they're not a freshman. But this next piece, On the Banks, I want to invite Morgan Wagner up to the podium, and she's going to take over. really cool thing about that piece is I rehearsed it with the band once, and every other rehearsal on it was run by Morgan. So when I talked about having, yeah, absolutely. So when I wanted her to do that piece, I didn't want it to be like this will be cool. I'll have a student conduct a piece on the concert, but I'll rehearse it, so you don't have to worry about it. Like, I wanted her to, see what it's like to run a rehearsal, and she did a great job with it. That piece had a couple of folk tunes from the Indiana region, back home again in Indiana, and on the banks of a river in Indiana. Morgan conducted the piece. I didn't. That's not my job on this one. But the folk song theme is running through. And then this piece is nothing like that. So the next piece we're going to play for you is, so far the three that we've played are pretty standard pieces in high school band repertoire. Challenging, yet accessible. This next piece is just challenging, and they did a great job working this piece up. This next piece we're going to play is a modern composition. It was written in the last 15 years, and it's written using a thing called a 12-tone matrix. If you took any music classes when you were in college, that might ring a bell, and you might think that all the music sounded terrible. You're probably right. This is the exception to the rule. What it does is every single note in the melody doesn't repeat until it goes through all 12 notes of the chromatic scale. It's a really interesting way to write a piece of music, and Alex Shapiro, who wrote this piece, did a modified version of that. The thing that makes this piece really cool, though, is that it uses an electronic backing track. So you're going to hear things coming from these speakers that pair with what the band is doing. Now, I did tune these in earlier today, and it's a little loud, but it should be okay. If you have sensitive ears or if you have hearing aids, you might want to turn them down just a little bit. But this piece is called Tight Squeeze. That is fun and terrifying all at the same time. As you can imagine, with a recorded track, if I get off or the band gets off, it all goes wrong. And they did a great job. At this moment, I want to take I'll talk more before our last piece as well. But I want to take a quick moment to thank a few people. First off, the awesome light and sound people helping out tonight. And our ushers, who I believe Cerise and Rachel, I think. And they're helping us out through the West Superior Music Parents. And at this point, I want to invite up Scott Tomaszek, who is the president of the Music Parents and Alumni Organization. He's going to talk a little bit about what the organization does, if you want to be involved, what that looks like. I think sometimes there's not just really sure what it looks like. So here's Scott Tomaszek.
Thank you. The Music Parents Association is a group that gets together to support, all these students that are up here, but it's music parents. So it's not just the band, it's also the choir too. And we're working on new ways to also reach to the middle school as well and help those programs out. And the way that we help out is primarily two different ways. We help by volunteering, and that might be cooking a meal or making some goodies or something for the marching band snack during the summer practices. It might be volunteering as a door monitor or a room monitor for solo ensemble, or some of those kind of events. The other thing that we do is we support through financial means. So this really breaks down into two things. There's two different funds. There's the General Music Parents Association fund, and then there's the actual student fund. So the general fund goes to things like, we did the New York trip, and that was a great time, and we paid about $3,000 to keep everyone's rate for the trip below $900. So that affected every student that went on the trip and every chaperone. The other thing we do is we try and help the families by giving fundraising opportunities where you can raise money and put it in the student account. So again, with the New York trip, we had over $9,000 paid out of the student accounts for specific students to pay down that $900 fee to go on the trip. And there were 3 students who paid for their entire trip just through fundraising activities sponsored by the Music Parents Association. We also help pay for new marching percussion instruments, and we do a number of things over the years to help out through the fundraising that we do. Like, we're getting here towards the end of the year. We have seniors that are moving on, and their parents are also moving out of the program. So we have some ways for you to volunteer and help out with the Music Parents Association in that way. And we have an event coming up right next week. So Bank Mutual is letting us use their parking lot to park cars for the Celebrate the Pier. And that money that we raise, about half of it goes into the general account, and the other half goes into the volunteers' accounts for their students. So I'm going to be out in the lobby after. If you'd like to find out other ways that you can help with the Music Parents Association, come and see me, and I'll have the sign-up list for the Memorial Day event, and I can give you more information for that if you stop by and talk to me. So thanks much, and I hope to talk to you after.
Thanks, Scott. I know my life would be infinitely more difficult if I didn't have a group like the Music Parents and Alumni helping me out and offering guidance when sought. I know when I first came here, I know Pam Lennon and Doug Stengel gave me a call like a week after I got hired, and they're like, "So what do you need?" I was like, okay, so this is what it's going to be like. This is good. I like it. And they've just kept that going. So if you even have an inkling about wanting to help out the music department in any way, shape, or form, talk with Scott. It's a great way to get into it. It's a great way to meet other music parents as well. So on the topic of people helping me do my job better. This year, if you were at our jazz night concert a couple weeks ago, you know we have 2 jazz bands at West Superior High School now, and that means we have a second jazz band director. Well, Katie Kameen, who's our second jazz band director, also assists me and helps me out with concert band. And I didn't think it would be right if I didn't have her conduct something on this concert as well. So I'd like to introduce Katie Kameen. And now Katie is with us this year, and she'll be helping out with our middle school next year, covering some long-term subbing for Becky Fronick, who's going on maternity leave. But Katie's going to be conducting River of Hope by Michael Sweeney. So hope you enjoy. All right. Now comes the part where I talk a lot, so I'm sorry. It's the last concert of the year. I have to recognize some people. So first off, I want to make sure that I recognize, and again, if I forget, if you've helped in a way with this concert and I forget you, I'm so sorry. But I do want to thank, I know, Laura Rowland for helping be so patient with, we share a couple of students between our choirs and bands, and trying to make sure we have a schedule that works is sometimes difficult, but it's nice working with someone who's understanding about that. So I want to make sure I thank Laura. All of our lighting design for the show tonight was actually done by freshman baritone player Kimberly Coolidge over here. So I'm really happy I get her for 3 more years. So the band is made up of freshmen through seniors, and every year there are a group of seniors that I have to say goodbye to, which is not easy. Especially with this group of seniors, I've taught them, 3 years. I basically taught them their second freshman year of band. I made the same joke at jazz night. I should get a new writer, new material. I got to get ready for my dad jokes. I got to get them prepped up. But so I've worked with these seniors now for 3 years, and they hold a really special place in my heart. So I want to make sure that I recognize them. Now, again, one more thing that our lovely Music Parents organization does, and a huge shout out to Pam Lennon for doing these gifts for our seniors. I'll try not to put my back to you too much, but I can't promise anything. So now each of these boxes is really a labor of love, because they look like a box of chocolate, right? What it actually is a box of chocolate, but that was a funnier joke. I thought I've got okay. New material, new writer. Okay. But what they are Pam Lennon goes through and comes up with like little band. This one is for Emily Wilson, who's one of our color guard seniors, and the one I see says "Got Silk." I love color guard. Like there's all sorts of individualized pieces in here, and there's like a lot of seniors between band and choir, so it really is a lot of work. I don't know if Emily is here tonight. If she's not, okay. I know Emily, and I have one for Kat, who is another one of our senior color guard girls, but Kat is doing me a monster favor right now, and she's working lights, so she can't come down and get it. But I just want to recognize Emily and Kat. as well as our other color guard senior, Maddie Clark. But now on to the band students I have. This is in no particular order, so it's not by favorites, just so you guys are aware, okay? The first senior I want to recognize, he's going to St. Norbert College next year, and he is always here early, asking if there's anything he can do to help, willing to move something for me, willing to put in the time that he needs to. Spencer Tyson. Another St. Norbert College person. Short and to the point in the senior booklet, but I heard a chuckle out there. I think they know who that is. But always keeps me on my toes, I'll say that. But has been a lot of fun to have in class, and wouldn't have it any other way. Celia Monlock. All right, on to our second of 3 senior saxophone players. She is going to be attending Marquette University next year and has been my lead alto player in jazz band for 2 years. And again, one of these people that's just always in the band room, as much as that can sometimes annoy me. I love having them there. But just always willing to put in extra work. And yeah, Greta Olson. Putting down a saxophone is hard work. A lot of mental energy there, right? I'm going to put that one back because I need to make fun of her more. No, you can stay there when I make fun of you later. So this next person is going to be going to Stevens Point next year and has always been a hard worker. You'll notice every single one I say hard worker because they all are, and I should have written down some like synonyms for it instead of just saying they're hard workers, every single person. But always good for a laugh, and I really enjoyed having her in jazz band after convincing her to join. So Danny Wyatt. There's too many percussion instruments back there for me to throw it. Also, we're band people. We don't sport that hard. As evidenced by the sentence I just said. On to our third senior saxophone player, Tori Stark, who, as you can tell, is a talented ukulele player and a great saxophone player. I think has joined and dropped jazz band more times than I think some people. It's got to be. It's got to be. Tori is going to be studying at the University of the World next year. He's going to be backpacking and doing some other things for some life experience. So. Now, the next senior, I have only had the pleasure of working with for 1 year, but she has always, anytime she's come in for a lesson, it's always been entertaining. Because she comes in, and she's like, oh my gosh, I can't play this music. I can't do that. Mr. Galaney, I feel so bad. I can't play the music. I'm like, it's a lesson. Like, we're learning the music. It's okay. She's going to be studying at the University of Rhode Island next year. Kylie Shelton. My next senior is a pain in my neck and always interrupts me during concert speeches and pre-concert speeches and doesn't wear shoes at jazz night. You shouldn't have worn heels. It was a long concert. She's going to be going to the University of Minnesota Twin Cities next year. Amy Hallmeyer. She's not wrong. I'm an easy target. It's okay. Oh, thank you, Becky and Pam. So this Rachel, senior, there's a little tag here, so that way I don't say the wrong person. This person is, I don't know how she does what she does with time commitments and extra things that she does between being on the dance team and being president of like 40 organizations outside of school and having a part-time job and all these other things, and she still finds time to be a really, really amazing flute player. Rachel McMorrow. On to our other Rachel, who is also an extremely busy person with time commitments and yet still finds a way to do concert band and jazz band and be a dedicated drum major and care for her section in a way that I haven't seen a senior care for their section in a while. It's really impressive. Rachel Welter. We're getting near the end. All right. Out of all my students, I think there is one that finds a way to pester and annoy me and infuriate me and impress me and put me in awe sometimes of his intellectual prowess and his musical abilities, all while functioning at such a high and low level of maturity. Caden Hendricks. All right, and the last senior that I have to recognize here is, well, you've already seen her and her musical abilities as a conductor. I'm sure you've heard her playing horn. If you were at Jazz Night, you heard her playing trumpet. If you happen to make it down to Appleton for a Lawrence Wind Ensemble concert, you've heard her play flute. She just does a little bit of everything and just commits herself to it and really does a great job with it. She'll be going to my alma mater, Stevens Point, next year, studying music education, Morgan Wagner. Okay, I still have more, sorry. So every year, the entire band votes on senior awards and who they think is most deserving of the Most Outstanding Band Member Award and the John Philip Sousa Band Member Award. And I always ask them to make sure they take it seriously and make sure that they vote for someone who they feel embodies the characteristics of those awards. And they always do a great job with that. This year, our Mariah Danforth Outstanding Band Member Award goes to Morgan Wagner. Now, I'm specifically not talking much at this point because I have a few awards. Our last piece is kind of long, and I don't want to cry. So, I know. So the awards that we use every year, we have the John Philip Sousa Award. We have the Louis Armstrong Outstanding Jazz Award. We've got the Mariah Danforth Outstanding Band Member Award. This year, I added a new award. This is a new award from from the company that does our awards, and it goes to a band member with outstanding musicianship, and that encompasses growth and helping others become better musicians and taking on roles that they maybe previously didn't think were either possible or they didn't want to do. And I wanted to make sure that I had a chance to recognize students going forward. This is the first year that they've put out this award, so I wanted to start this off and be able to use this in the coming years, because I'm sure that with the group of kids that I have, I'm not going to have any trouble finding someone for this award. But this year, the award, the Leonard Bernstein Musicianship Award, goes to Amy Holtmeyer. Gotcha. And the last two awards we have, the Louis Armstrong Outstanding Jazz Musician Award and the John Philip Sousa Outstanding Band Member Award. I saved them for last because it's a twofer. Both my jazz students voted on who they felt would be their outstanding jazz member, and then the concert band voted on their outstanding band member, and both groups selected Kaden Hendricks as their award winner. Okay, and now on to our last piece of the concert. This piece is, as I told the kids before we came out here tonight, this is the most difficult piece of music that they're probably ever going to play in their life. And I say that with all honesty. This piece that we're going to do is by Frank Tikelli, and if you've been to any of my concerts in my time here at West Superior, that name will sound familiar to you. He is the most prominent wind band composer currently working, and every single one of his pieces has something musically appropriate for students to learn at any age. And some of his more advanced pieces, like the one we're going to play for you, have such a deep fabric of not only musical things for kids to learn, but musical moments for them to really cherish. This piece, I want to talk about it just for a quick minute, even though you're sick of listening to me talk, I'm sorry. That way it'll make a little bit more sense. This piece is about the battle of light and dark in our lives and in the world. The piece, as you can see in the program, is called Angels in the Architecture. And it uses different folk melodies and different chorales and hymns to bring and make you sense where the light sections are happening, and uses this very angular, very kind of aggressive sounding section to show you where the darkness is happening. And it goes and it transitions back and forth between them, sometimes seamlessly and sometimes not so seamlessly, but it's an incredible piece of music to listen to. It is a little long, so I just want to let you know you're in for a ride here, okay? You're going to have some highs and lows, all right? But this piece is going to feature all sorts of fun things back in the percussion section. We've got some crystal wine glasses. We've got some whirlies, which can one of you do? They look like black snakes back there, but they're actually things that you're going to see them doing that above their heads, creating halos. And they will be angels in the percussion section for the first time ever. That was good. I did okay on that one. The percussionists in the audience are like, he's right. He's right. But there are a lot of interesting things to listen to here. So I hope that you enjoy our concert finale, Angels in the Architecture. Thank you so much for coming out. Hope you enjoyed the concert. Have a great night.